that you'll do every single thing correctly the first time. Nope. It's likely that you'll make some mistakes the first time. It's likely that you won't use the scripts correctly the first time. It's likely that you will not have a member of your upline call and do three-way calls with you in advance of that PBR to make sure that every person who is coming, who said they'll be there, will be there. This is another nugget of wisdom here. This is worth about $1 million to somebody. Maybe it's you. When you contact that individual and say, did you review the material? And they say, yes, but. You say, great, that's why I want you to be here. Remember that these initial candidates are those that you have some comfort with, and they probably won't feel terribly out of line by telling you, you know what, I'm going to try to be there. What they said was they will try to be there. What you heard was, I will be there. When you now bring a third party into the equation, when it is now you're a qualified candidate. Who is a qualified candidate? It's someone who reviewed a preliminary information device and said, this makes sense to me, but, or this made sense, and yes, I would like to take the next step. When it's you, the qualified candidate, and me, or an upline resource, it's on the telephone. Now it's, hey Peter, it's Randy, how you doing? Listen, I really appreciate you reviewing the information. I understand that you're going to be there on Tuesday night. I'm intrigued enough about meeting you, Peter, that where typically I call into these things on a speakerphone, I'm actually going to be there myself, and I'm coming to meet you. I just want to tell you that I appreciate in advance you're setting aside your time, and I look forward to meeting you. Now, you know what? If Peter's not going to be there, I find out. Oh, Randy, I'm sorry. I said I'd try to be there, but I'm not going to be. Great. Now I know. Or it just firmed up in Peter's mind the fact that he will be there. You know, one of the things that I struggle with, and I want to get past this, if I could get more people to get on Centerline, I'd get past this. So often, I go and do that first PBR, that first private business review, and I wind up re-sponsoring the host or hostess because they didn't do things right. Now they've got 7 to 10 chairs sitting there, and they've got no people in them, and they are crestfallen. Guys, there's always a reason why. There's a reason why when things go well, and there's a reason why when things don't go well. Get yourself dead on Centerline, and every experience will be a positive one. Well, the point is that if you've got 7 to 10 that are planned on being there, pretty darn good chance if you did three-way phone calls with a member of the upline. There's also a pretty darn good chance that no matter how I try, you're not going to do most of these things right the first time. And so I don't want any chairs set up. I just want your home the way that it is. And if it winds up that you've got to pull a few chairs out, that's great. That's the exact way that I want it to look. What about refreshments? Well, if you've got a refreshment tray set up for 10 people and there's one person there, it's the same thing. And so no refreshments until the presentation is actually at the moment that it's going to begin, and then you can go and pull out of the fridge whatever it is. What are appropriate refreshments? Cheese, crackers, sparkling water, Diet Coke, coffee, tea. What is not appropriate? Alcohol. I never, ever, ever want alcohol in advance of a presentation that I'm involved in, and frankly I would choose that it not be there afterwards either. But if you want to have a glass of wine after the presentation, that's up to you, but never anything in advance. There's never, ever a positive outcome from having alcohol served in advance of a presentation. And so now what occurs? Very, very simple. People will observe in working with me, and I hope that you can adopt the demeanor that I adopt. I don't ever try to convince anyone to join this business. I'll never try to convince you to join the business. I won't ever try to convince you to take a step further than you want to take. What I will do is lead a person steadily and methodically along a path, allowing them to make their choice. Do I want to take the next step? Do I want to? Do I want to? Do I want to? Is this now as far as I want to go? Is this as far as I want to go? Or do I want to stay on Centerline? Allowing each person to make choices based upon his or her own goal set. Now we have our first PBR. And in this discussion, a person will see, touch, taste, feel the Agile product line. And one thing I learned so very long ago, this is critical. I only want to talk to people who want to talk to me. I don't want to talk to those who don't want to talk to me. And so after a brief introduction to the business, 30 minutes, 40 max, I will take a break. Folks, I want to thank you so much for being here this evening. I'm so grateful to our host just for having shared their home with us this evening. I recognize that many of you have family members waiting for you at home. You've got to work early tomorrow. I appreciate you being here, and I personally invite you to join us. I'm going to take a short break now to grant those of you who need to be on your way the opportunity to be on your way. For those of you for whom this makes a lot of sense, you know, you just really tracked along with me, what I want to do is take a short break, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, have a cup of coffee, and then let's come back. I want to completely, totally shift gears. I want to stop talking about what the business is, and I want to talk instead about what steps we'll have to take to come together as a team to make this a significant income situation. It'll only take us 15 or 20 minutes to do that. So again, those of you that need to be on your way, thanks so much for being here. Those that can grant me another 15, 20 minutes while I have a cup of coffee and let's chat some more. Thanks. Now, something magic just occurred. People did not get closed. Those who want to go, they can go, and I want them to. because I only want to talk to people who want to talk to me. Now we come back together for the second half of this discussion, which is no more than 20 minutes long. And in that discussion, now I know I'm only talking to people who are going to join me in the business. Some are going to join me tonight, some are going to join me tomorrow, some are going to join me next month, but they're all going to join me. And now it is simply a function of identifying what is the next correct activity for each of these individuals. What's the next correct activity? Well, some people said, Randy, I want to do this. Great. What's the next correct activity? It's to get together and now take this short, generic new member orientation, which was conducted for this group of people. We stopped talking about what it is. We started talking about what to do, but it was in the context of this group of 8 or 10 people. It wasn't in the context of what is your goal, what is your time constraint, what is your financial consideration. So we need to turn this into a personal new member orientation. Great, we need to schedule that. This individual, I'm not really quite sure what to do next. Okay, your next step in evaluation is what? It is the Agile business briefing. You know, people, again, they misunderstand the various methods of information delivery, and they tend to think that this one would work the same as this one in various stages in this pattern of activities. Not so. When a person goes to an Agile business briefing as their first look at the business, remember, every single thing that we do is teaching someone else what they should do. If I invite Peter to go to a business presentation at the Hyatt on Tuesday night, and he sees 100 people there, well, that's cool. What's he going to do? He's going to think his best advice is to invite one person to go to that next presentation next week with one person. In so doing, what did he not learn? He didn't learn the importance of creating a candidate list that was 40 strong, doing a major blast, hosting a private presentation. He didn't learn that behind the private presentation there should be a preliminary new member orientation, and that the person who walks into the door at the Hyatt should be at that stage of their development. The person who walks into the door at the Hyatt, they are being hopefully now stepping into an environment where they are reaching a concluding point. Now they're getting to meet local leadership. They're getting to see some of the medical people that are involved. They're hearing of product successes, business successes. That Agile business briefing, it has a big place in our business, but it's not as a first exposure tool or as a first primary presentation tool. I hope one thing that becomes clear for you as we go through our various discussions. When people think of network marketing as this, it's wide, they don't make any money. It's when you think of it the way that I do. It's specific, it's precise, it's absolute. What do? We become a team member. We identify what will be our initial entry point into the business. We place our order. Why do we place our order? So that we can effectively conduct a first private presentation, that first private business review. We identify a candidate list. We identify a preliminary information device. We create scripts. We place the information device. We place scripts to come behind the information device to determine the next activity. We host not just one but a series of PBRs. A series? Well, yeah, because now I'm in Peter's home and I look around the room and I see this group of 7 to 10 people. Some of them are there because they're his mother. They're his mother. They came. They were one of those 8 that would jump off a cliff for him. She's not going to do the business, probably. She might. She'll become a product user to support Peter. And then she'll find out she loves the product. And who knows what good things happen. But now I look around the room, and I'm looking for the eyes that are burning the brightest. I'm saying, you know, Tom, I've seen from the moment we sat down together, you have tracked along with me. Let's get together. Let me explain this business to you, and let's find out if this is for you. And if it is, then you know what? I'm willing to be in your house next week to do the same thing. And then I'm looking around the room in his home for the eyes that are burning the brightest. You know what, Billy, I can tell. This makes sense to you. I'd love to do this for you next week. Let's get together. You know what, guys, 6 weeks from now, I'm working on Peter's 6th generation. And whether Peter ever took any significant action, I've worked aggressively through a series of circles of influence. And now what will Peter see 6 weeks from now? Even if Peter hasn't done anything except host a first private business review, he's seeing development of activity on his 7th level. Now what's Peter going to say when somebody says, what about this Agile thing? Well, my gosh, I haven't done a whole lot, but I can tell you this. I've got people in my 7th generation. Peter just became an incredible advertisement for my business if he never does anything else. What if, on the other hand, I allow Peter to do what is the natural flow? I allow Peter to show up at the Agile business briefing with one candidate, and that one candidate doesn't join. Now, what kind of an advertisement do I got from Peter if he does nothing 6 weeks from now? Boy, what a total difference. Guys, every single thing that we do in this business teaches somebody else what they must do. If A, then B. If C, then D. And that is true if we do things correctly or if we do them incorrectly. This business is easy and it is simple. But behind the easy simplicity, there is some intricacy. There are some pieces of this business that if you'll come to understand, turn what seems vague into something that's very specific. I've taught you all I want to teach you for right now. This business, this industry has been a gift in my life, and Agile represents kind of the bow on the gift. This is a magic moment, and it can be for you. Thanks a lot.